Hi, Dr. Johnson. How are you?
Hello, Kimberly Lee. How are
I'm
you?
doing well. Thank you for doing this for me.
Of
What I
course.
want to do is I just want to go to this Georgia Leaders Keep Effectiveness System with you, and I rate it myself,
Okay.
and you rated me. So
Mm-hmm.
I just like to have a conversation about what you think my strength areas are,
Mm-hmm.
as well as my areas of growth. So we can start with standard one, which is instructional leadership.
Okay.
Um, I'm not going to go through every single point, but some of the things I rated myself on as skilled, which for me kind of means proficient, which
Okay.
is an A. Some of the other points I rated myself on are three, somewhat skilled,
Okay.
which means that I probably have some areas of growth in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think?
Well, I think as a completing your second full year as an assistant principal, you will see areas for growth in every standard. As a principal, I still have areas for growth in every standard.
Okay.
So under instructional leadership, I definitely think that you had quite a number of strengths, skilled or higher, fours and fives. And those were things where you provide opportunities for stakeholders and, working with the team and really promoting and getting teachers energized. That's your strength, and that shows up also under standard two, where you had a significant number of fours and fives there, majority fours and fives. School climate has always been your strength in the interview and in your practice. Um, an area for growth under instructional leadership
Mm-hmm.
would be more with kind of taking the lead and starting an initiative and following that through. I think you do a great job implementing the vision that has already been set, but really taking something, developing it, and moving it forward to the next level is where I would see you would want to grow with as a leader.
I agree with that. I've actually looked at my duties and responsibilities for
Mm-hmm.
next year,
Mm-hmm.
and I've reached out to some different people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from them. It's the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know when they'll be getting back to me. But what I did was I reached out to them to see if we could meet the week of July 14th, which
Okay.
is before we come back.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to a literacy instructional coach, somebody in the Title I department, just so
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of get a jump start
Mm-hmm.
on my duties and take responsibility of those as a leader and then kind of move forward.
Okay.
So I am working on that. I noticed for instructional leadership for monitors, teachers practice, and student learning through regular classroom visits, I gave myself a 5, and I see that you did as well.
Correct.
So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So for standard two, we talked about a lot of the strengths. How many standards? It's one. All but one of the standards are rated a 4 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
The one where I rated you a 2/3 would be to develop and/or implement a school plan. You definitely implement the plan that we have. That's without question. But really want you to see that on the front end that school safety is really a priority with all schools, and giving you an opportunity this year to work with the other assistant principals to really develop it and see how that process is done from start to finish is, I
Okay.
think, an area that you will like and you'll grow in that.
I think so too. I had an assignment for another course I'm taking
Mhm.
this summer
Mhm.
where I had to develop a safety plan. So I kind of
Perfect.
already have some things in mind that I would like to do moving
Excellent.
forward.
So for planning and assessment, those are areas where on my evaluation I scored you as somewhat skilled, 3, and some of them a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's primarily because you are moving into a new role where you will have to, you'll see a lot of shine in that. And that's an area that I would rate myself as 3s and 4s because it's always evolving. When you're using data, you always want to kind of get better and move to a more effective plan. It's an ongoing thing. It's a continuous process. So I think 3s and 4s is where all of us should really live. If you get to a 5, I think you become complacent. So
Okay.
that's just a motivating drive for that one.
And as I'm looking at what you rated me and
Mhm.
what I rated myself, it's the same,
Okay.
actually. And I think that just speaks to the conversations
Mhm.
that we have as an admit team that we're not off, with our ratings. So
Okay.
that makes me feel good as far as us communicating with each other.
For organizational management, I think you show a lot of skilled areas. Most of them are 4s. I have 3 areas that are 2/3s, and those kind of relate to school climate with developing a safety plan, creating an annual budget. Those things that you have not been given an opportunity to do, but with your new responsibilities, that will be part of your duties and responsibility to create a Title I budget, to do a needs assessment. So I think that that'll give you an opportunity to learn that indicator under that standard. But the other ones, as far as communicating and providing support with teachers and following up with student plans, you're very skilled in those areas.
Okay, thank you. The next standard is Standard 5, Human Resource Management. I've done a little bit with that as far as hiring people, interviewing people. I think I have some areas of growth in there just because I'm practically not a new AP because I'll be entering my third year. But sometimes you just don't have an opportunity to have different experiences with different standards. And so when it comes to you, then you can have that experience and grow in it and see what your areas of growth are as well as your strengths. What do you think?
Actually, I scored you largely with skilled in that area. I do have some 3s and some 4s when it comes to taking some risk and, getting teachers to take risk. But overall, I think you support Standard 5 simply by working closely with your teachers, making sure you're there to support them, making sure that the environment is conducive to teaching and learning. I think you do those things well. You, in your evaluations that you've done with teachers, you've given them critical feedback that helps them to get back on the right path, identifying their strengths and weaknesses. So I think you've done that.
Hope so. Okay. I think for human resources and then the instructional piece that I would like to push our teachers a little bit more. Instructionally is what I mean.
And you will definitely have an opportunity to do that after you see our data.
Great.
So you will be charged with doing a lot of that under language arts. So you will definitely have a huge opportunity to do that.
Okay. Part of this work that we're doing is that I have to do kind of like our LSPI. It's called something different, but it's basically the same concept.
A school improvement plan?
Yes, ma'am. And what and my focus is going to be, you can tell me what you think, is literacy, of course, for the whole school, but to break it down smaller, literacy for 4th grade, just because I support 2nd and 4th, and 2nd grade doesn't take the Georgia milestones. So I'll be talking to you further about that because it's part of this work and part of the plan. I want to focus on literacy.
And we can get into that deeper, but literacy, you really want to include everyone.
Okay.
Even though your grade level assignment may be to support 2nd and 4th, literacy is a K-5.
Yes,
it's a birth through 5. So you really want to dig deep and try to fill in some of those gaps.
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. The next one is teacher and staff evaluation.
I marked you on skilled on all of those indicators. I think that you follow that process extremely well.
Thank you. The next one, which I think is the final one, is professionalism. I think I do pretty well with that.
I scored you as 4 on all of those as well.
Okay.
I think that professionalism isn't something that really can be taught. It's something that you have or you do not have, and I think you do have that. I think that you take your job seriously, that you support the school and the principal, and I think that you try to carry out your duties to the highest of your ability. And in some of those areas where you are going to improve, I think that you do have integrity with those things.
Thank you. So overall, just looking at my areas of growth moving forward, maybe 2 or 3 according to this, what do you think I should be working on and just kind of put it in the front of my mind as summer's already closing out?
I think the standards that we're going to work on is Standard 1, instructional leadership, because that's going to be the core of our business, and also organizational management, Standard 4, and also planning and assessment. So Standards 1, 3, and 4 will be our primary focus for you.
1, 3, and 4. Okay, well, thank you for having this conversation with me. This helps with my course, and then it helps with my work moving forward. So
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.